Lavinia, I love you so much. I love you just because you make me so happy.
April 16, 2021 was a night that would forever haunt the South Deering neighborhood of Chicago. In the early hours, a woman emerged from the darkness, her body engulfed in unimaginable pain. Barely clothed, her skin burned and blistered. She ran desperately through the streets, leaving a trail of anguish behind her. She reached a nearby fire station, her voice trembling as she uttered words that would chill anyone to their core. "My husband tried to kill me." This was no accident, this was no misunderstanding. This was the result of a horrifying act of violence, a deliberate attempt to destroy a life. The woman was 35-year-old Lavinia Gardner, a vibrant soul known for her warmth and optimism. But on this night, her strength was tested in ways no one should ever endure. As firefighters rushed to her aid, they were met with a scene that was both heartbreaking and unforgettable. Her skin had melted over her fingernails, and the remnants of her clothing clung to her body like a cruel reminder of the attack. Despite her agony, Lavinia managed to recount the unthinkable. Her husband, Henry Taylor, had doused her in lighter fluid and set her on fire. What drives someone to commit such a horrific act against the person they vowed to love and protect? How does a relationship that begins with promises of devotion end in such devastation? These are the questions we'll explore as we uncover the tragic story of Lavinia Gardner, a story that demands to be told. Before we continue, I want to ask you to take a moment to reflect on the importance of raising awareness about domestic violence. By liking this video, sharing it with others, and subscribing to this channel, you're helping to honor Lavinia's memory and bring attention to an issue that affects countless lives. Together, we can make a difference. Lavinia Gardner, affectionately known as Viv to her loved ones, was a 35-year-old woman from Chicago's South Side. She was the kind of person who could light up any room she entered, her warm smile and infectious energy leaving a lasting impression on everyone she met. Friends and family described her as a beacon of positivity, someone who always found a way to bring joy to those around her, even in the face of life's challenges. Lavinia's life was deeply rooted in her relationships. She valued the people she loved and was known for her unwavering loyalty and compassion. It was this same compassion that led her to Henry Taylor, a 31-year-old man with a troubled past. Despite his history of anger issues and a criminal record, Lavinia believed in their connection. She saw something in him that made her hopeful for their future together. Their relationship began casually but quickly grew more serious. In a whirlwind of emotions, the couple decided to marry in Las Vegas, exchanging vows in front of loved ones. For a brief moment it seemed like a fairy tale, a fresh start filled with promise, but beneath the surface, cracks were already beginning to show. Henry Taylor's temper was no secret. He openly admitted to being a hothead during live streams on social media, where he made disturbing comments about violence, including chilling remarks about setting people on fire. These statements, dismissed by some as mere bravado, would later take on a horrifying significance. Behind closed doors, the relationship became increasingly volatile. Arguments escalated, and Henry's anger often turned into abuse. Lavinia, ever the optimist, held on to hope that things would improve. She believed in the man she had married, even as the warning signs became impossible to ignore. Friends and family watched with concern, but like so many victims of domestic violence, Lavinia found herself trapped in a cycle of fear, hope, and despair. Her story is a heartbreaking reminder of how love and loyalty can sometimes blind us to danger. It's a story that raises difficult questions. How do we recognize when a relationship has turned toxic? And how can we support those who feel they have no way out? Henry Taylor, 31 years old at the time of the attack, presented a complex and troubling figure. Unlike Lavinia's warm and optimistic nature, Henry was known for his volatile temperament and unpredictable behavior. His history revealed a pattern of anger management issues that would eventually escalate to deadly violence. Before meeting Lavinia, Henry had already accumulated a criminal record. The details of his past offenses weren't widely publicized, but they hinted at a man struggling to control his impulses and anger. Despite these red flags, Henry maintained a certain charm that allowed him to navigate social situations and form relationships. including the one with Lavinia. Henry was surprisingly open about his temperamental nature. On social media live streams, he would casually refer to himself as a hothead, wearing the label almost as a badge of honor rather than recognizing it as a serious concern. More disturbing were his comments about violence, including chilling remarks about setting people on fire, statements that would later prove to be more than idle threats. Friends and acquaintances who knew the couple noted the stark contrast between them. While Lavinia radiated positivity and compassion, Henry often displayed controlling behavior and quick flashes of anger. The relationship dynamic was unbalanced from the start, with Henry's domineering presence gradually eroding Lavinia's independence and sense of security. After their Las Vegas wedding, those who knew the couple noticed a change in Lavinia. Her usual vibrant energy seemed dimmed, and she appeared increasingly isolated from her support network. Meanwhile, Henry's controlling behavior intensified behind closed doors, creating a pressure cooker environment that would eventually explode in violence. What makes Henry Taylor's case particularly disturbing is the calculated nature of his attack. Setting someone on fire is not an impulsive act. It requires deliberate steps and intent. This premeditation suggests a level of cruelty that shocked even experienced law enforcement officers. His lack of remorse afterward, evidenced by his cold confession to both Lavinia's family and the police, further highlighted the disturbing nature of his character. Henry's behavior following the attack, calling Lavinia's family to confess what he had done, turning himself into police, and his emotionless recounting of the events, revealed a man disconnected from the gravity of his actions. His statement that he wasn't even that close to her and she went up in flames demonstrated a chilling detachment from the horrific suffering he had inflicted. The case of Henry Taylor raises important questions about how society identifies and addresses potentially dangerous individuals before they commit violent acts. His open admissions about his anger issues and disturbing comments about violence were warning signs that, in retrospect, foretold the tragedy to come. Yet, like many abusers, he was able to maintain relationships and move through society without intervention until it was too late. Understanding Henry Taylor's background doesn't excuse his actions. Nothing could justify the horror he inflicted on Lavinia Gardner. Rather, examining his history helps us identify the warning signs that might prevent similar tragedies in the future. His story serves as a stark reminder that when someone shows you who they are, you should believe them the first time. In the early hours of April 16, 2021, the quiet streets of Chicago's South Deering neighborhood became the backdrop for an unthinkable act of violence. Inside a home on South Hoxie Avenue, an argument between Lavinia Gardner and her husband Henry Taylor spiraled out of control. What began as a heated exchange quickly escalated into a moment of unimaginable cruelty. Fueled by rage, Henry grabbed a can of lighter fluid and turned his anger into a weapon. Without hesitation, he doused Lavinia in the flammable liquid and flicked a lighter in her direction. In an instant, her body was engulfed in flames. The fire consumed her clothing, her skin, and any chance of escape within the confines of their home. But Lavinia was a fighter. Despite the excruciating pain, she refused to give up. She managed to strip off her burning clothes and ran to the bathroom, where she jumped into the shower in a desperate attempt to extinguish the flames. Her survival instincts kicked in, and with what little strength she had left, she fled the house, barefoot and injured, running 2 blocks to the nearest fire station. When she arrived at Engine 81, the firefighters were stunned by the sight before them. Lavinia's skin was severely burned, with some areas melted down to her fingernails. The plastic from her hair extensions had fused to her scalp, a haunting reminder of the attack she had just endured. Despite her injuries, she managed to tell the firefighters what had happened. Her voice, though weak, carried the weight of her pain and regret. "My husband tried to kill me. I should have left him a long time ago." Paramedics were called immediately, and Lavinia was rushed to Trinity Hospital before being transferred to the University of Chicago Medical Center. As she lay in the ambulance, she asked the paramedics a question that would haunt them long after that night. "Am I going to die?" The events of that night left an indelible mark on everyone involved. For Lavinia, it was a fight for survival. For her family, it was the beginning of a nightmare. And for the community, it was a stark reminder of the devastating consequences of unchecked domestic violence. After the attack, Lavinia Gardner's fight for survival began. She was rushed to Trinity Hospital, where doctors worked tirelessly to stabilize her. From there, she was transferred to the University of Chicago Medical Center, a facility better equipped to handle the severity of her injuries. With second- and third-degree burns covering over 70% of her body, Lavinia faced an uphill battle. Every breath, every moment was a testament to her incredible strength and will to live. Doctors performed multiple skin graft surgeries in an attempt to repair the extensive damage. The burns had ravaged her body, leaving her in unimaginable pain. Despite the medical team's best efforts, the odds were stacked against her. The severity of her injuries made recovery nearly impossible, but Lavinia held on, fighting for over a month. Her family remained by her side, their hearts breaking as they watched her endure the aftermath of Henry Taylor's horrific actions. They clung to hope, praying for a miracle, but the emotional toll was overwhelming. Lavinia's words from the night of the attack echoed in their minds. "I should have left him a long time ago." It was a haunting reminder of the danger she had faced and the courage it took to speak out, even in her final moments. On May 21, 2021, after more than a month of fighting, Lavinia succumbed to her injuries. The medical examiner confirmed that the burns covering most of her body had made recovery impossible. Her death marked the end of her physical suffering, but left a void in the lives of those who loved her. For her family, friends, and community, the loss was devastating. Lavinia's warmth, optimism, and strength had been stolen by an act of unimaginable cruelty. Her story is a heartbreaking reminder of the dangers of domestic violence and the importance of taking action before it's too late. It's a call to support those who feel trapped, to listen to their voices, and to help them find a way out. Lavinia's fight may have ended, but her story continues to inspire change. In the days following the attack, Henry Taylor turned himself in to the authorities. His confession was as chilling as the crime itself. During a videotaped interview, he admitted to dousing his wife Lavinia Gardner with lighter fluid and setting her on fire. His words were devoid of remorse as he coldly described the act, even remarking that he wasn't even that close to her, and she went up in flames. It was a statement that underscored the callousness of his actions and the lack of humanity in his behavior. Henry's confession wasn't limited to the police. Hours after the attack, he had called Lavinia's family, her mother, brother, and sister, to tell them what he had done. The calls were a cruel reminder of the horror he had inflicted, leaving her loved ones grappling with the weight of his words and the reality of her suffering. When Henry appeared in court, the details of his crime shocked even the most seasoned legal professionals. Judge Susana Ortiz, who presided over the case, described his actions as brutal and heinous. The evidence against him was overwhelming, from his taped confession to the testimony of witnesses who had seen Lavinia's desperate attempt to seek help. The court charged Henry Taylor with first-degree murder, and he was ordered to be held without bail as he awaited trial. The legal proceedings were a small step toward justice for Lavinia, but they could never undo the pain and loss caused by Henry's actions. For her family, the trial was a painful reminder of the tragedy they had endured. They were forced to relive the details of that horrific night, all while mourning the loss of a woman who had brought so much light into their lives. Henry Taylor's case serves as a stark reminder of the importance of holding abusers accountable. It highlights the need for a justice system that not only punishes perpetrators, but also works to prevent such tragedies from occurring in the first place. While no sentence could ever bring Lavinia back, ensuring that her killer faced the full weight of the law was a crucial step in honoring her memory. As the trial progressed, the community rallied around Lavinia's family, offering support and solidarity. Her story became a rallying cry for change, a call to action to address the pervasive issue of domestic violence. It was a reminder that justice is not just about punishment. It's about creating a world where no one has to endure what Lavinia did. Lavina Gardner's story is more than a heartbreaking tragedy. It's a wake-up call. Her life and untimely death highlight the devastating consequences of domestic violence and the urgent need for action to prevent similar tragedies. While her story is deeply personal, it carries universal lessons that can save lives and inspire change. One of the most critical takeaways from Lavinia's story is the importance of recognizing the red flags in a relationship. Henry Taylor's history of anger issues and troubling behavior was evident long before the attack. He openly admitted to being a hothead and made disturbing comments about violence, including setting people on fire. These were not just idle words, they were warnings of the danger he posed. For those in abusive relationships, it's crucial to take these signs seriously. Comments or behaviors that seem threatening should never be dismissed or minimized. Friends and family also play a vital role in identifying these warning signs and offering support. If someone you know is in a relationship that feels unsafe, don't hesitate to reach out and help them find resources to leave. Luvenia's story underscores the importance of having a strong support system. Domestic violence often isolates victims, making it difficult for them to seek help. Friends and family can be a lifeline, providing emotional support and practical assistance to help victims escape dangerous situations. If you suspect someone you care about is in an abusive relationship, approach them with compassion and without judgment. Let them know they're not alone and that help is available. Sometimes just knowing someone is there to listen can make all the difference. Domestic violence thrives in silence. Luvenia's story is a powerful reminder of the need to speak out and raise awareness about this pervasive issue. By sharing her story, we honor her memory and shine a light on the realities of abuse. Public education campaigns, open conversations, and community support can help break the stigma surrounding domestic violence and empower victims to come forward. Luvenia's case also highlights the need for stronger legal protections for victims of domestic violence. Stricter enforcement of restraining orders, harsher penalties for abusers, and increased access to shelters and financial assistance can make it easier for victims to leave abusive relationships safely. These measures are not just about punishment, they're about prevention. While holding abusers accountable is essential, it's equally important to address the root causes of their behavior. Many abusers have unresolved psychological issues that contribute to their actions. Programs that focus on anger management and behavioral change can help prevent future incidents. However, these interventions must be paired with accountability to ensure that abusers take responsibility for their actions. Luvenia's story is a call to action for all of us. It's a reminder that domestic violence is not just a private issue, it's a societal problem that requires collective effort to address. By supporting organizations that help victims, advocating for stronger legal protections, and fostering a culture of empathy and awareness, we can work toward a future where no one has to endure what Luvenia did. As you reflect on her story, ask yourself, what can I do to make a difference? Whether it's sharing this video to raise awareness, offering support to someone in need, or advocating for change in your community, every action counts. Together we can honor Luvenia's memory by creating a world where love and safety go hand in hand. Luvenia Gardner's life was tragically cut short by an act of unimaginable cruelty, but her story does not end with her death. It lives on as a powerful reminder of the dangers of domestic violence and the strength it takes to fight for survival, even in the face of overwhelming odds. Luvenia's courage, resilience, and the love she shared with those around her are what define her, not the horrific actions of the man who betrayed her trust. Her story is a call to action for all of us. It's a plea to recognize the warning signs of abuse, to support those who feel trapped, and to speak out against the silence that allows domestic violence to persist. By sharing her story, we honor her memory and ensure that her suffering was not in vain. As we reflect on Luvenia's life, we must also remember the countless others who have faced similar fates. Domestic violence is a pervasive issue that affects millions of people worldwide, yet it often goes unnoticed until it's too late. Luvenia's story is a stark reminder that we all have a role to play in preventing these tragedies, whether it's offering support to a friend in need, advocating for stronger protections for victims, or simply raising awareness. Every action matters. To those watching, I ask, what will you do to honor Luvenia's memory? Will you share her story to help others recognize the signs of abuse? Will you reach out to someone who might be in danger? Will you stand up and say, enough is enough? Together we can create a world where no one has to endure what Luvenia did, a world where love and safety are not just ideals, but realities. Before we close, I want to thank you for watching and for being part of this mission to raise awareness about domestic violence. If this story has moved you, please like this video, share it with others, and subscribe to this channel. By doing so, you're helping to spread Louvenia's story and bring attention to an issue that affects so many lives. Let's honor her memory by making a difference. May Louvenia rest in peace, and may her story inspire us all to take action. Together, we can ensure that her legacy lives on, not as a victim, but as a symbol of strength, courage, and the fight for justice.